Further announcement, please. Teachers at the door. We will cease the registrations for now as we, in another minute, we will be heading into the formal part of the program. So kindly be informed that registrations will continue throughout the day, so you do not need to be where you are at the moment as we are about to begin the formal ceremony this morning. Minister of Education, Honorable Dr. Priyamanik Chand, Permanent Secretary, Ministry of Education, Mr. Alfred King, Chief Education Officer, Dr. Marcel Hudson, Deputy Chief Education Officers, Assistant Chief Education Officers, all the senior officers of the Ministry of Education, CEOs, directors, and representatives of our corporate partners, head teachers, both physically and virtually. I'm certain they will be joining us shortly as we try to connect our electronic device. I want to more so welcome teachers that have traveled from far this morning. We have in the house teachers from as far as Region 1. If my Region 1 teachers are in the house, just give me a handshake or something, a hand wave. Oh, there we are. The last I heard, we had teachers traveling from Region 2. If our Region 2 teachers are in the house, can you indicate? Oh, there we go. Region 3, do we have teachers from Region 3? Yes, we have them. They're now joining us. Welcome. Region 4, welcome. Georgetown, we have teachers from Georgetown. Yes, they are amongst us. Welcome. Region 5, on their way, and so is Region 6, I'm guessing. Region 10, I'm told also. Region 10, do we have teachers here from Region 10? Ah, there we go. Welcome, Region 10. If we have any other teachers from any other hinterland regions, welcome to you all. If not, I'm certain that you will be joining us virtually. You will be with us in that virtual space today. To start the program, I would like to invite us all to stand as we offer a word of prayer as I recite the universal prayer. All heads bowed. Where the mind is without fear and the head is held high, where knowledge is free, where the world is not broken up into fragments by narrow domestic walls, where words come out from the depth of truth, where tireless striving stretches its arms towards perfection, where the clear stream of reason has not lost its way into the dreary desert sand of dead habits, where the mind is led forward by thee into ever-winding thought and action, into the heaven of freedom. My Father, let my country awake. Amen. Please remain standing as we recite the national pledge. At the count of 2, we begin. 1, 2. I pledge myself to honor as your Master of Ceremonies today to welcome you all to this one-of-a-kind auspicious activity, the launch of the Ministry of Education's Teachers Welfare and Support Program. There was much buzz and excitement when the launch was first announced. I have personally received many messages and phone calls from teachers who wanted to know more about this initiative. I can tell you, I am certainly not tired of responding. Our speakers who will be taking the podium will be answering all of your questions, and even some that you have not even thought about yet. And so, to begin proceedings this morning, it is with great honor that I present to you our esteemed and diligent Chief Education Officer to give us his opening remarks. Ladies and gentlemen, please join me in welcoming our Chief Education Officer, Dr. Marcel Hudson.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman. Chairman, Honorable Minister of Education, Dr. Prema Chand, Permanent Secretary of the Ministry of Education, Mr. Alfred King, Managing Director, Guyana and Trinidad Mutual Group of Companies, Mr. Richard Lee and his representative, Chief Executive Officer, Guyana Telephone and Telegraph Company, Mr. Damian Blackburn and his representative, Managing Director, Metro, Mr. Ron Ramniran, Education Specialist, Dr. Olato Sam, Senior Officers of the Ministry of Education, special guests, our esteemed teachers in our midst, and those who are watching us via technology. I am indeed delighted to be part of this launch, which is very significant. And I'm so pleased to see the hundreds of persons here today, and I'm sure there are thousands that are watching via online. I consider this launch most significant because it is a testimony and a true reflection of the love, the respect, and value we attach to the most valued resource of our education system, our teachers. How do I know you are valuable? How do we know you are valuable? The jury is in and the verdict is out. Serious teachers change lives for the better. They liberate minds and unlock the future of their students. So much that one student wrote, and I quote, "For years, like a thief in the night, ignorance robbed me of dignity, pride, and my ability to thrive. But each one of my teachers gave me the keys to unlock the chains of ignorance that bound me for so many years," unquote. Teachers are seen as creating sustainable learning environments and as advocates of social justice and citizenship. In schools, they determine the quality of a country's education system, especially the extent to which the products of education meet the requirements of societal development. Mr. Chairman, since we are not oblivious to the gravity of the work of our teachers, it is only natural that we strategically find tangible ways to support them in the execution of their responsibilities. It was Mike Bayam who said, "Recognize and affirm people when they contribute to the mission you share. Do this, and you will ignite the purpose and potential," unquote. It is against this background, Mr. Chairman, that another giant step is taken in the form of a special relief package that has been carved out to help our teachers which will be elaborated on later in this program. We are cognizant of the fact that schools are supposed to focus their attention on improved performance in order to accentuate their quality, relevance, and impact. We are also aware that a multiplicity of factors is responsible for influencing the performance of schools, which the welfare of teachers is paramount. Paramount because it forms the basis for motivation and output of our teachers. Research shows that the concept of welfare is concerned with the total well-being of employees, both at school and at home, which is fundamentally linked to their health, economic status, happiness, and safety. Chairman, this is what this initiative is for. It is for our hard-working teachers, and this is what it is all about. It is about making their conditions and lives more pliable. I am sure, Chair, that this step taken here today is the beginning of many more projects of this nature that will be rolled out by the Ministry of Education under the astute and magnanimous leadership of our Minister, Dr. Priyamani Chan. In closing, Mr. Chairman, we cannot negate the fact that the law of reciprocity is essential for the much-needed outcomes for such an initiative. The reciprocity principle is one of the basic laws of social psychology. It says that in many social situations, we pay back what we receive from others. In this case, Mr. Chairman, all our teachers have to do is to ensure that they satisfy the mission of the Ministry of Education, and that is to make good on their oath to work towards the educational advancement of every child, regardless of ethnicity, social economic background, location, and the like. UNESCO supported this view when it asserted that initiatives of this nature must cause teachers to perform in ways that enhance positive schooling. Chair, it is our fervent view that upon receipt of this package, our teachers will further be touched to work with dedication, diligence, and dignity as they carry the mantle as true agents of change in the education system. As we continue to strive for the transformation of our education system, let us heed the words of the Chinese philosopher Confucius, who stated, if you think in terms of a year, plant a seed. If you think in terms of 10 years, plant trees. If in terms of 100 years, teach people. My valued teachers, let us think generational and carve our names in history as game changers. At this juncture, I would like to graciously extend heartfelt gratitude to all our partners and stakeholders for your contributions in making this movement a successful one. I say movement and not an event, because event comes and they go. But a movement speaks of continuity, and I believe we are on good standing as we march forward in transforming the landscape of education in this nation. Thank you, and God bless you all.
Love, respect, value. Our most important resources, definitely, our teachers are. Thank you, Chief Education Officer Dr. Marcel Hudson. At this time, we will be entertained by an individual, Joel. We just have, for those of you who have the program, we just have the song brought forward. A little bit about Joel. Joel is 18 years. For those of you who are following the recent talent search organized by the Ministry of Culture, Youth and Sports, he was one of the 6 finalists, winners of the recently concluded talent search. Currently, he's working on releasing new music with the hope of aspiring and, in fact, inspiring other young musicians. So I would like to welcome at this time Joel who will be giving us a song today, an appreciation song to teachers. Please welcome Joel.
Sometimes in our lives, we all have pain, we all have sorrow. But if we are wise, we know that there's always tomorrow. Lean on me where you're not strong, and I'll be your friend. I'll help you carry on, for it won't be long that I'm gonna need somebody to lean on. Please swallow your pride if I have things you need to borrow, for no one can fill those of your needs that you won't let show. You just call on me, brother, when you need a hand. We all need somebody to lean on. I just might have a problem that you'll understand. We all need somebody to lean on. Lean on me when you're not strong, and I'll be your friend. I'll help you carry on, for it won't be long. I'm gonna need somebody to lean on. You just call on me, brother, when you need a hand. We all need somebody to lean on. I just might have a problem that you'll understand. We all need somebody to lean on. If there is a load that you can bear, that you can carry, I'm right up the road. I share your load if you just call me. Thank you.
Thank you so much, Joel. On any other day, at any other activity, I would have him sing once more, but the program must go on. That was well done, apt. I felt that song, I'm sure you also did. Thank you, Joel, once again. At this time, we will be hearing from our corporate partners. And to start things off this morning, I would like to invite the Managing Director of GTM. Ladies and gentlemen, please join me in welcoming Mr. Roger Yee to the podium.
Minister of Education, Honorable Premanik-Chan, Dr. Marcel Hudson, Chief Executive Officer, Mr. Permanent Secretary, sir, Mr. Olatusam, Education Specialist, Master of Ceremony, valued teachers and educators, representatives from other corporate partner entities, members of the media, ladies and gentlemen, good morning. Honorable Minister, thank you very much for permitting us to partner and to make a few remarks. Ladies and gentlemen, no one plans to get sick, suffer serious injury, or being hospitalized. All too often, these unexpected medical expenditures are not only very costly, but financially burdensome. Health insurance provides financial protection, be it from routine medical expenses such as dental, optical, or the far more costly major medicals such as surgeries and chronic ailments. Health insurance not only provides financial protection against planned and unplanned medical expenses, but it also acts as a safeguard for one's family. Guyana currently provides a free healthcare system and medical benefits available via the National Insurance Scheme. Honorable Minister, you and your team must be commended for recognizing the importance of providing health insurance coverage to all public sector educators across 10 administrative regions of Guyana in addition to those already available. This health insurance package provides a wide range of coverage, which includes doctor's visits, dental and optical care, prescription drugs, diagnostic services, maternity benefits, surgeries, and other medical events. The plan not only covers the cost of travel from the hinterland for medical care, but also emergency air ambulance services within the borders of Guyana. One of the unique features of this package is its preventative care. The plan provides free mammogram for all members over the age of 35 years and every 5 years thereafter, free pap smear for members on recommendation by a doctor, free prostate cancer test for members over 50 and every 5 years thereafter, and free medical checkups for principals upon attaining the age of 50 and every 2 years thereafter. These four benefits are usually not offered on the standard healthcare packages, and even if they were, each would carry an added premium. The package also includes, Honorable Minister, non-insurance benefits such as a revolving mortgage scheme of $200 million per year for all teachers who qualify, annual bursaries, and special motor and homeowners packages. Honorable Minister, on behalf of the board and entire GTM family, I take this opportunity to congratulate you and your team for developing such a groundbreaking package for teachers and express our sincere gratitude for affording the GTM group an opportunity to partner with the Ministry of Education in such an excellent initiative. Thanks.
Mr. Roger Yee, thank you so much for being part of this movement, as our CEO referred to it as. We will also continue to hear from our partners at this time. With the technology that is available, Mr. Damian Blackburn was not able to be here physically with us, but if our IT team can connect us, we can then hear from the CEO of GTT. GTT is represented here today. However, Mr. Damian Blackburn has a video presentation in which he will be speaking to us. So I'll ask the IT team to take it from here.
Hey everybody, this is Damian Blackburn, the CEO of GTT. Firstly, I would like to start by thanking the Minister of Education, who has allowed us to partner in this very important teacher welfare and support program. We're delighted to partner with the Ministry of Education in this really great initiative. We at GTT believe in education, and we believe in the quality of learning that the teachers in Guyana give every day. It's been such a challenging time as teachers and students transition to learning virtually, and we're delighted that we're able to play our small part in this program by, for every teacher who buys our mobile service, they will receive 25% extra voice and data. And for any teacher who wants to get onto the GTT fibre service for their home, we can promise you that you will get free installation. Thank you very much indeed, and good luck with the initiative, and we will be with you every step of the way over the course of the next few months and years. Thank you. Good day, everybody.
Much
This is
thanks to
Damien
Mr.
Blackburn,
Damien
the CEO
Blackburn
of GTT.
and the GTT
Firstly, I
team.
would like to start by thanking the Minister of Education,
We will now hear
who has
from
allowed us to
another
partner
of
in
our
this very
partner
important teacher
who will also
welfare
be
and support program.
joining us
We're
virtually.
delighted to partner with the Ministry of Education.
All goes
in
well,
this
we
really,
will be
really
hearing
great
from him
initiative.
live.
We
If
at
not,
GTT
there's a
believe in
recording
education,
also. But
and
we
we
are hopeful
believe
that we can
in the
hear
quality of learning that
from
the teachers in
Mr.
Guyana give
Ron
every day.
Ramnarayan,
It's been such a challenging
managing
time
director
as teachers
of
and
Metro.
students transition
once again, I
to
will hand you
learning
over to the
virtually.
IT team.
And we're delighted
to get this done.
Greeting from the United States of America. Honorable Minister of Education, Priya Manik Chand. Permanent Secretary of the Ministry of Education, Mr. Alfred King. Chief Education Officer, Dr. Marcel Hudson. Education Specialist in the Office of the Ministry of Education, Dr. Olato San. Education officers within the Ministry of Education, teachers, special invitees, viewers online. I am Ron Ramnarayan, a Guyanese entrepreneur, company president of Metro Office and Computer Supply, and a former student of Bushlat Secondary School in Currentine, Berbice. Before I migrated to the United States of America as a teenager, I am very grateful to all my teachers for the quality education I received right here in Guyana. It was life-changing and equipped me for the life and the world of business. The pleasure is mine to share brief remarks on the launch of the Teacher Welfare and Support Program, hosted by the Ministry of Education in observance of Education Month 2021, under the theme Education for All, Innovative Teaching and Learning in a Global Pandemic. I would like to take this opportunity to commend the Honorable Minister of Education and the Ministry of Education for coordinating this timely initiative. Metro Office and Computer Supply has been a collaborating partner within the Ministry of Education for over 2 decades. In October, Metro will celebrate 25 years of service to Guyana, and we have to thank our teachers in no small way for the continued support. We salute our nation teachers for their dedication and commitment to the noble profession, more so your ability to adapt throughout the global pandemic, to ensure to the best of your knowledge that children across Guyana receive a quality education by delivering the curriculum via Zoom and other platforms. Today, I would like to make two special announcements to solidify Metro commitment to teachers in Guyana, making 200 gift voucher valued at $5,000 each, redeemable at Metro location in New Amsterdam, Berbice, Georgetown, and for use online on metroguyana.com. We will make voucher available to the teachers present to the event from Region 2, 3, 4, and 5. The Ministry of Education will facilitate the distribution to Region 1, 6, 7, 8, 9, and 10 later. Secondly, I was privileged to learn from the Honorable Minister our intention to revitalize the end of school year Teachers Award in July 2022. And to this project, Metro Office and Computer Supplies pledged 11 laptops computer for their finalists. Corporate social responsibility is in the DNA of Metro Office and Computer Supplies. And this is our way of demonstrating the core value. The theme of Education Month 2021 underscored education for all. Innovative teaching and learning in a global pandemic. To achieve this goal, private and public, collaboration and partnership are crucial so our teachers can access the right tools and support to get the job done. In closing, I wish to encourage everyone to remain safe and in the words of Clay B. Bedford, you can teach a student a lesson for a day, but if you can teach him to learn by creating curiosity, he will continue the learning process as long as you live. Thank you.
Thank you very much. That was the Managing Director of Metro joining us from the United States. As he mentioned, we are so grateful that Metro can come on board also with us today. Before we go into any more speeches, we will be entertained actually by Nekoya Allen, who will be rendering us today a poem. Nekoya is a special education teacher who works at the Guyana Learning Channel actually, so she is one of us. Ladies and gentlemen, please welcome Ms. Nekoya Allen.
Good day to everyone. You're all special. So, special acknowledgement to everyone. Today, my poem is entitled Teachers by Beckley Edmond. Teachers proudly stand in front of the class with knowledge and influence en masse, igniting a flame in the curious minds, proficiently as the lessons unwind. Teaching is a calling that burns deep inside to instruct thirsty, inquisitive minds, installing passion that leads to success, inspiring pupils to give of their best, encouraging scholars, creative gifts, praising, applauding whatever it is. Those who are taught well live great lives. Blessed are the teachers, it must be said. It doesn't go unnoticed. The work involved, developing great people to evolve. All humble, nurturing teachers out there, thank you for your compassionate care. Those who go to find their hopes and dreams, remember the teacher who cast the beam. Thank you.
Thank you so much, Ms. Nikoya Allen, for that poem. At this time, all the questions that you may have in your mind, I'm certain, will be answered, because we will be hearing from one of the significant operators in this initiative. I would like to invite former Chief Education Officer and current Education Specialist at the Ministry of Education. Ladies and gentlemen, please join me in welcoming Dr. Olatosan.
Thank you very much, Marty, our Deputy Chief Education Officer, Chairman today, Honorable Minister of Education, Dr. Priya Manik Chan, our Permanent Secretary, Mr. Alfred King, our Chief Education Officer, Dr. Hudson, representative and other senior officers within the Ministry of Education, our representatives from our corporate partner. We have here, as you know, Mr. Roger Yee. You would have heard from Mr. Blackburn and Mr. Ramnarayan, and other stakeholders who are present. Our heads and teachers today. Today is the day that we celebrate teachers and teaching, and we're really excited about this. So I'm asking you guys to put your hands together. It has been widely accepted in our society that teachers play a critical role in the development of our nation. It is our expectation at the Ministry of Education that our teachers will go about their responsibilities with a level of commitment and dedication that will ensure the delivery of the highest quality of education across this nation. The well-being, therefore, of our teachers plays a critical role in ensuring this. Research has established that the level of satisfaction derived from their practice is directly linked to their performance. It is against this backdrop that this Teachers' Welfare and Benefits Program was devised. The Ministry of Education has embraced the concept that the welfare of our teachers needs concerted attention and will therefore, when addressed, pay dividends in relation to their output. This initiative encompasses a comprehensive approach towards improving the overall circumstances under which our teachers practice within this noble profession. I'd like to take some time to just discuss in a little bit of detail, the facets of this program. Firstly, as you're aware, and you would have heard, we're providing discounts on various services across a wide range of sectors, including but not limited to electronics, telecommunications, retail goods, air transportation, household furniture and appliances, and the list goes on, optical care, garments, office supplies. We have over 150 entities that have already signed up, and others will be contacting the Ministry of Education to be part of this, and these entities are spread across every single region. I'm really excited about it because our teachers who travel to Georgetown now can get discounted airfares and things of that sort. It's wonderful. Those who travel with buses can get discounted bus services. It's amazing. Currently, we have some of our corporate partners with us today. And for this day in particular, there's some special things that they're doing. I'm pleased to announce that every single teacher here will leave with a gift voucher that they can use at various establishments: Venus Footwear, Karpalani, Survival Supermarket, Metro Office Supplies, and the list goes on in relation to what's being offered. In addition to that, we have a special giveaway from GT&T. They will actually raffle off 4 cell phones for our participating teachers today. We have a number of giveaways from various establishments here, and I encourage all of our teachers to visit all of the booths and make sure that you take advantage of what's on offer today.
for Venus Footwear.
I know that it will be said numerous times today, but we certainly must extend sincere appreciation to all of our partners. And I must say, every teacher here with more than 20 years service. Do we have teachers here with more than 20 years service? Please raise your hand. Excellent, excellent. Venus Footwear has agreed to give each one of you a free pair of shoes, so make sure you access that before you leave. And don't try to fake it. We know we can look in your faces and see if you are. But more importantly, I think our healthcare system, this comprehensive healthcare benefits package, is unprecedented. Thank you, Managing Director Roger Yee, for indicating to me that there is nothing like it within the Caribbean. So we're trailblazers in that regard. An opportunity for our teachers to benefit, teachers and their families, all of their dependents up to the age of 21, so their spouses and children can also be part of this healthcare package. You would have heard of the wide-ranging benefits that this package covers, and it's critically important that we value the health of our teachers, and this is going to be a significant dimension of what our teachers can enjoy going forward. With that, you also heard of the revolving mortgage fund, whereby first-time owners or teachers who are first-time homeowners can access from $2 million to $12 million towards their mortgages, and that is certainly commendable. But we've gone even further. We've commenced a teacher benevolence fund. Through this fund, we will provide financial support to teachers in specified hardship situations. Over time, some of our teachers have experienced some truly tragic circumstances and have had few options at their disposal to turn to for assistance. Well, we are remedying that. Through this initiative, a public-private partnership, this fund will provide access to financial support when our teachers are confronted with these hardship conditions, and I think that is going to go a long way in helping our teachers. As was mentioned by Mr. Ramnarayan, we will resuscitate the National Teacher Awards program, rewarding teachers for excellence in service. As you might recall, we've had this in the past, where our stellar teachers would have been compensated for their recognized and compensated for their hard work. Given the specific experiences of the recent past, where there have been multiple examples of our teachers demonstrating such high levels of dedication within the face of this very destabilizing pandemic, we thought it best to recommit to awarding excellence in teaching through the resuscitation of the National Teacher Awards program. So come next year, July, all of you dedicated and committed teachers, you will certainly have an opportunity to be recognized for your hard work. And I know, with my support of my Minister of Education, in the past we gave out $1 million as a top prize, but I'm going to push Minister to top that so our teachers can be fully recognized in a very significant way. Not going to tell you what it is yet, but it has to be better than what it was in the past, doesn't it? It really should, right? And I don't want to put our PS on the spot, but hint, hint, nudge, nudge. Lastly, our teachers' conference, our annual teachers' conference will commence next year, July. It will provide various developmental opportunities and promote professionalism, networking, and a community of teachers within the education system in Guyana. This will be an opportunity for our teachers to come together to build a strong network, to benefit from lectures, presentations of local and international best practices in the profession, and experience a wide range of developmental initiatives, and ultimately, as I said, advance the teaching service. And that will be our first annual teachers conference will be next year. So we're certainly going to be planning and looking forward to that, and it's going to be grand, even grander than this. Minister, I'll be very honest. I really must commend you for supporting all of this. This really emerged out of, truthfully, some conversations that we would have had, where we had we were being very frank about the fact that there's always been, and this is not just about you, us, and our time at the ministry, but some degree of distrust between our teachers and the Ministry of Education. We have to continuously work to erase that mistrust and let teachers know that we, who are all teachers ourselves, are fully supportive of who you are, what you do, and your role and importance to us all in this country, Guyana. It is out of this that I commend all of our teachers for the work that you've been doing, and ask that you continue to work with us in moving education forward in this nation. Thank you, Minister, and thank all of you for being part of this experience. So good news, GT&T is going to do the raffle right now. We'll call on Marty to come up just before Minister comes on to just pick the numbers, just 4 random numbers between 1 and 400. And 4 lucky teachers here will walk away with 4 brand new telephones.
Sweet.
Pick 4 numbers.
All right, so if you're feeling lucky, maybe you had this dream last night and you saw a number in your head. I hope I can pull that number.
If a teacher doesn't have a chip, please indicate by raising your hand now.
Okay, so if any teacher amongst us here does not have a chit, kindly raise your hand. If anyone doesn't have a chit, so I'm seeing 1 at the back, 2. I think we have, just keep your hands up, please. Someone will come to you. Okay, everybody is covered. Ready to pull? Or just random? I have the lucky or unlucky task of calling 4 numbers. Let me see if I can psych with any one of you. Yeah? We don't have a bag at the moment. A number at random. So we could simply, I could simply call 4 numbers, or we can pull a number, but
Marty, you pick a number, the Minister pick a number, PS and CEO.
oh, very well. So we just imagine a number? Yeah, just a number, okay. I've chosen my number, so PS 107, Marty 90, 13, CEO 10. All right, so we got those numbers. So teachers, you have a chit on you with a number. So let's go those numbers back. 107. 107. Come forward, please. I'm 90. Next number would have been 90. Come forward, please. 107 here. You're my lucky lady for today, 90. Lucky 13. Do we have a lucky 13 in the house? There we go. Welcome, please. Lucky 13. And we have a lucky 10. Yes, there we go. Please say thanks to Chief as you pass by. Yes. Come forward. these 4 lucky teachers are now going to receive a cell phone from GTT. Over to you, presenters and teachers. Ah, very well. To the front, maybe to the front. One at a time, yeah. Okay, so presenting to you, Miss
Carolyn Fraser Grenville.
Carolyn
HM
Fraser Grenville,
Tocqueville Secondary School.
HM Tocqueville Secondary.
Delicia Park, Christchurch Secondary.
Delicia Park, Christchurch Secondary. Next. Name? Althea Walcott David Rose Special School. Stephanie Puran, Ogle Nursery.
Is a lucky you had got the number. 30, yeah. It's your birthday. Congrats, guys.
Thank you very much, GTT. Just to let you know also that it keeps getting better. I'm seeing eNetworks in the corner, so what eNetworks will be offering for you is that they will be providing free installation for any teacher who wish to install their 4G network to the value of $12,000. Thank you, eNetworks. We're coming down to the end of Anisha. There's someone at the back needs your attention. There's someone at the back needs your attention with the, just check on her, please. Thank you. We're coming down to the end of our formal ceremony. I would like to ask our teachers who are standing at the back, you can diffuse yourself across the space. You're not confined there, but you can spread if you feel free to. We have lots of space to the left and to the right. At this time, we will be putting the icing on the cake. It gives me great pleasure to present to you a great woman of worth, a woman of great resilience. I would add, with nerves of steel, a mother, a mentor, a woman who holds education dear to her heart. More than a mother, more than a mentor, she is our honorable minister. Ladies and gentlemen, please join with me and stand as we welcome Honorable Dr. Priya Manikchand, Minister of Education.
Thank you very much, Marty. Please sit. Good morning. to the CEO, DCEOs, ACEOs, PS, education specialists, our head teachers, other education officers, and particularly to our partners here in the private sector, thank you for coming. Before I begin, let me apologize for the brief moments that you have been standing. We did not expect everyone this early. So the chairs were set up for just the official launch, and then the exhibition and fair would happen over 3 hours. But your presence here speaks to us loud and clear. Loud and clear. And we've noted it, and we will continue to note it. I thank you for coming this morning. If we ever wondered about the value of a teacher in the classroom, I believe this last year and a half has really defined and underscored for us what that means. The last year and a half, we have seen just how valuable a trained teacher standing in front of a classroom delivering education is. And we have heard the commentary before. Them teachers know what they're doing. I could teach my own child. After this last year, they've been begging, just take these children back. Please, because it's so hard to do. And those of us who felt we could teach as parents understood that with the highest qualifications, degrees and PhDs, teaching is an art that not everyone has. So just now, I wanted to join that competition because I was teaching children for the last year too. And I feel extremely tired and stressed, my own too, because they don't listen, they don't want to do their work. It's a battle. And on a serious note, it has been a year that has offered many the opportunity to see what it is that is required to move this system forward. I have felt acutely, and that is why one of the first conversations Olato and I had when we brought him back on, because he's far too valuable for us to have him in the country and not have him contribute to education. One of the first conversations we had was how to change how we are treating teachers, providing resources, and by that I mean training, cardboard, chalk, and all that, to make teachers more effective. And I have felt acutely that distrust, fomented sometimes by people who would like to divide, because if you take the teachers away, then you have an audience and a membership. Fomented sometimes by the general society's distrust of each other if we look differently or vote differently. Maliciously created sometimes so that space could be made for other people. And it would be wrong of me if I didn't say, genuinely felt, because sometimes the ministry lords it over everybody. And the ministry, by the ministry I mean education departments and so on. So we come into your school, and instead of holding your hand through a problem, we take out the big stick and we threaten. I have never felt suspicious of you. So I want to make that very clear. And that is why, in the face of recent activities, we never stopped. We will relentlessly serve you. We will persistently serve you. We will consistently serve you. I have grown up, and that is why I don't feel any suspicion towards teachers. My mother started teaching at 16 years old as a pupil teacher. Went to CPC, got trained, retired a head teacher at Bel Air Primary, and moved through all the levels. My aunts are all either trained or trained graduate teachers. My grandfather was a headmaster. His brother was I come from a teaching family. My father dabbled in it a little bit until he didn't think it paid enough. But I see and saw firsthand how dedicated my mother was to moving, and she didn't like what were termed the fancy schools. I remember when she had an offer to move to Stella Maris, which in those days was a fancy school, and she thought she could be better served with children who didn't have lunch in their lunch kits and didn't have mothers to even bring them to school. And so she always liked picking schools where she thought she could make a difference. And I saw how sometimes she would, many times, work and work and work because she believed she could bring students up. And I remember the year, I think it was actually my year that I wrote Common Entrance, that she had 5 or 6 students for Queen's College. She had moved them from Standard 4, Standard 5. At that time, it was Standards, Standard 6. And I saw very clearly how work didn't end when you came home. And nobody was coming home at 3 o'clock. You're coming home at 5 and 6 in the afternoon. And work didn't stop. So much so you didn't have time for your own children. And if they didn't understand something, was more likely to get a thump than an explanation. We know in the Ministry of Education how valuable good teachers are. We know how much more we can do as a system to make sure our not so good teachers get better. And we know that the system cannot have space and tolerance for persons who have no intention of accessing any training to get better. We are seeing some serious commentaries through results that we have to talk about, that we have to open the door on. Commentaries that say a child reaching grade 6, writing NGSA, having been with us for 8 years, nursery 1, nursery 2, grades 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, can't write a single word on that exam paper. Too many for us to say we are doing excellently. We know that there is space for much improvement. We have redesigned, and you will hear about that shortly, the inspectorate. It is led by an expert patriot of this country. And it will not be the same unit that attempts to change us with punitive measures. It's going to be a unit of support and holding the hands of schools through those changes. And you will feel that, and you will understand when we say we are serious. We know in this last year that many teachers taught however you could, online, through worksheets, under your bottom house, and yes, breaking the rules, all of them, and taking your children back into the classroom because you can't reach them on the ministry's fancy headlines. Ministry says, oh, there's online teaching, and you know fully well that means nothing to the children in your classroom because you cannot reach them. And I saw teachers break rules, take the children into schools. 95% of our NGSA public school classes went to school. I'm not sure if you know that, because the teachers took them in. And when officers visited, they said that they were marking books. That is, I saw, an act of love, an act of deep care, an act of wanting to see your children do well. We can't be in a place where we encourage black market education. If we do, we would be failing to respond as a ministry. And it was the teachers and parents who said to us, if we are not to lose children in this period, we have to engage them face to face. It was the teachers that said that to us. I hear a new thing coming up, that we can't talk to teachers directly. We have to talk to representative bodies. I wonder a little bit about that, because representative bodies are supposed to be representing what their members want. And if the members are saying to us openly, this is what we want because we cannot do our calling except we have it, then we need to examine what is the representation the members are getting. We, in this last year, tried very hard in difficult circumstances, not here in Guyana, in the world, to continue to engage our children. Yet we have seen significant learning loss, significant, 2 grades back. Yet we have seen dropouts at the primary school level, at least 1,000 so far. Yet we have seen dropouts before the completion of the secondary cycle, registered to write CXC but didn't turn up to write it. They're already in the back dams. We are beginning to see and feel tangibly the effects of this school closure that has been predicted by UNESCO, the World Bank, UNICEF, and every other study around the world that engaged in trying to determine what would happen and predict what would happen. We can't afford to lose our children. We simply can't. We can't. It would be us dooming them to a life of poverty and a life of hardship, because we all know that the one sure way to be comfortable and have plenty and be able to hear, understand, and interpret things for oneself, the only sure way is through a solid education. And so we have to find ways to do that are safe in this pandemic. Pandemic is going nowhere. The prediction is that you might get a break in the world by August 2022. But look at how far off that is. What do we do in the meanwhile? What do we do in the meanwhile? I'm very pleased to say that each plan for each school came from you. Came from you. The schools, we gave broad guidelines in the ministry. This is, we don't want more than 5 children in a nursery class at the same time. We don't want more than, we want 6 feet distance between the desk and the benches. We want children to wear masks. We want teachers to be vaccinated. We gave broad direction. Your schools with the PTAs and the HMs sat down and told us how you will do that. You said, Shia will come back to school fully because the whole village is vaccinated, all the teachers are vaccinated, and our numbers are small. You said, Surama, everybody is going to school, head teacher, teachers, because they have a 98% vaccination rate, and no teacher is coming outside of the village. You said North Georgetown will come 7 on Monday and Wednesday, and another 7 on Tuesday and Thursday, because that's how we can keep the classes, keep the COVID protocols by the Ministry of Health in place. Throughout the country, in every region, it was you we heard from, and it's your plan we're trying to implement. And sometimes our failing, I acknowledge it and I own it, is that we don't talk about these things enough. We don't talk enough about how we arrived at a position, and we leave a lot of space for other people to come and say, this isn't working. The people who are using it are telling us it's working. They said this is what they wanted, they said it's working, and they have the freedom and liberty to change it as they go along. So sometimes we need to talk more, and we have to fix that at the ministry's end. We are very glad to say in this year, more than 1,200 teachers have accessed the GOLD scholarships, the Guyana Online Learning Academy of Learning, 1,200. It was open to everyone, but 1,200 teachers chose to do further educations, degrees and masters, and I believe some PhDs also, in education. But I was very pleased to see not only education, teachers use their education degree to diversify, and they're learning other things, 1,200. Very pleased to say that more than 8,000 teachers out of the 55,000 in the country, more than 8,000 teachers registered and got qualified on the Coursera Commonwealth of Learning partnership that we had with the ministry. Very glad to say that we established a relationship with Profuturo, which is a premier training organization out of Spain, where there was a specific 8-month course developed to do innovation and ICT usage, developed and would be very useful in this pandemic. Innovation, how do you use what you have around you to teach? And ICT, how to use technology to deliver education. 10,000 teachers have registered and more than 3,000 have completed the entire course. All of that for free. During that time, and the usage of internet is not expending the teachers' data, because we arranged with GT&T and Digicel that once you go onto that platform, your data will not be used. Very pleased to say that over the last year, with the shortage of devices available on the world market, we have given to more than 3,000 teachers devices, either laptops or tablets. Various regions had their own programs. Very pleased to say that while unfortunately we have had teachers who have contracted COVID, we tried very hard to support by making sure contact tracing was done in an organized way, where we took on the burden of making the arrangements, as well as support being given to the teachers in the form of a care package. I say that to say we have not been sitting on our hands. In this last 2 weeks, we reopened schools last week, and unfortunately, we have had to close at least 17 in 1 week. Again, someone is going to clip that and make it a program for tonight. But let's take that into perspective. Every country in this world who has found a solution to get their children back in the classroom has had to deal with very similar issues. Very similar issues. All those teachers who became positive, and let me just say, they tested on Monday that you're positive, you didn't catch that in school. You had to get it like a good 7 days before. So let's understand some of those dynamics. Every single teacher has either received or is in the process of receiving a healthy care kit from us. Every teacher has been walked through and assisted the process of getting tested and contact tracing happening. In the last 2 weeks, you know there's a Sputnik V shortage, second dose, and that's about to change, but We arranged for all our teachers who needed the Sputnik V second dose to go to specific locations and get that. You might be some in here. We don't talk about some of these things, and we leave space for people who have nothing else to offer you to take away from it. Here's the thing. This country is changing. We hear about the boom that will be Guyana. We hear about the thriving nation that we will have. You are actually the most important players in that. What you do with your children will determine whether they can participate meaningfully and fully in this new country that we're building, or whether they will be doomed to looking on at other people thriving. That is how important your job is. All I ask of you is that you teach the children sitting in your desks and benches the way you want someone to teach your biological child, your niece, your nephew. If you feel right now, today, that you are teaching the same way you would want your child taught, then carry on. You're doing well. But if in reflection here today, you think you can do more, then introspect about what that more is and tell us. Because my commitment here to you today is that we will support your professional development fully. You have my promise on that. We will hold your hand through any obstacles you believe you have in the classroom. We will try to fix very, very strategically and timely, not 4 years down the line. We will try to fix the resource deficit. For the grade 6 teachers who are here, you will know for the first time in the history of this country, in the midst of a pandemic and a bad flood, and when everybody's throwing up their arms and telling us what we can and cannot do, your children received every single textbook and worksheet and past paper they needed so that you could better help prepare them. And you know better than me how that helped you. Those kinds of resources we don't want you struggling for. So you're going to see that. One of our promises when we were asking people to vote for us was that we would provide all the textbooks our children need. We're presently in the process of procuring all the primary textbooks. Very hard task. Textbooks have not been procured in this country for over 3 years, so you got a big deficit that you need from grade 1 all the way to grade 6 and nursery. And you will see books in your hands that you could have only dreamt of having, and in your children's hands. And so you have to reorient yourself about how, with these new resources and this new kind of support, how you're going to be a better teacher. I commit here that we will work with you, and we will work with anyone, any stakeholder. By now you must realize that I don't take things personally at all. We will work with any stakeholder who wants to see the sector do better. But we will not let petulance, personal interest, political intervention stop us from doing what we have to do, because our job is too important. Children, lives, futures, this nation depends on us. So this morning, we're very glad to say somebody said this was a response to the strike that was called. The insurance people could tell you how we haggled back and forth for a while to get some of the benefits. And it wasn't a hard haggle, just since February, just laying out some practical things teachers need. Pap smears for teachers, important. Transportation, important. This is not a response. This is a genuine interest in checking to see what we can do for you so that you could do your work when you get into the classroom. And you'll see much, much more of that. From last night to now, when we started throwing up that the event was happening, I have personally received at least 10 calls from various businesses saying, we'd like to join. I've received private school messages from teachers saying, we'd like to join, we'd like to be a part of the program. And so I can only see this growing. This is going to grow, it's going to get better. And I'm saying to you that we're at a good place in this country to take this profession forward. Before I go, I want to just say it's always easy. The easiest thing for me to do would be to say, we're in a pandemic, we can't do much, so many millions of children are out of school, so many thousands of schools are closed, and justify a school closure. That's easy. That's the easiest thing for the Ministry of Education to do at this point. The least controversial thing, for now, and I say for now because the same people who are calling for school closures now will hold up dropout rates and bad reports later on to say, see, you did not. We are not acting here based on what people are saying. Our duty is to do what is in the best interest of the children we swore to serve. And when I held my Bible in Parliament and took the oath of service, I did not swear to do the easy thing. It was to do the right thing, without fear, without favor. And that is what we will do. And that is all I ask of you. I thank you and God bless you all. So we have, in the ministry, when I was here last time, because I had a previous iteration, I heard that there was this lady, and she's excellent with what she does. And then I had a little chat with her, and I realized, ooh, we can't let her go. So we grabbed her, and she's been there, and she's here again with me now. And there's some documents I don't sign unless she saw it and went through it. She's very thorough, very fair, very quiet, gets it done, very efficient. And in 1971, on Monday gone, what was Monday, the 11th, 13th, she started as a pupil teacher in Santa Rosa. That's in Region 1. So I heard the Region 1 people are over there. Yeah. You gave us a beautiful daughter who has served and continue to serve. And on Monday, she celebrated 50 years of service in education. Come. And so this is Miss Francesca Vera, ours, and I want you to join me in congratulating her for the 50 years of service. Yes. And just so you know, Maruka is a gift that keeps giving. Marty D'Souza, who's presently your Deputy Chief Education Officer for Amerindian and Hinterland Education Development, it's something I created, a post we created last year, so that we could stop talking about equity and whining about how we're not getting equity and actually start acting towards making sure children in the hinterland are equal to children on the coast. And he is from Maruka and Region 1.
All right, so at this point in time, Mrs. Vera would like to say a few words, so we welcome her once more.
Thank you.
Where are we? Good day to everyone. Honorable Minister of Education, Dr. Priya Manik-Chan, Chief Education Officer, Dr. Marcel Hudson, Permanent Secretary, Mr. Alfred King, Education Specialist, Dr. Personnel, special invitees, all education fraternity. As I stand here today, I would firstly like to acknowledge that I am truly grateful to God for the gift of life. Secondly, I am elated to be honored and recognized for my long years of service in the field of education, starting from a pupil teacher. I know some people want to do the maths, but it's just because I started at the age of 15 plus. So that's why I'm here, completed 50 years on Monday. Much of this recognition during this week, I must give credit to our dear and beloved Minister of Education. She has to take some of the credits for highlighting this milestone, and for that, I am grateful. I am also grateful and pleased with all the teachers across this country, my students across the country. I saw some comments from students that I taught even in Santa Rosa when they said, this was my primary 3 teacher. And from Montrose. So, and it was heart-filling to know that I have made an impact on the lives of so many children who now have their families all across this land. And I can't find words to express how grateful I am for that privilege and for me to be standing here to say thank you to everyone who has supported me. I know the journey was not easy. It was blended with economic constraints, illness, other struggle, and factors on the way. But nevertheless, determination and the will to succeed was there that saw me through. And to teachers and all across this country, I must highlight the importance of education. Through education, we can move to where we want to be and to be who we want to be. So use all opportunity to, for the opportunities, use opportunities that are there now. It's even more now than then. And as teachers, I urge you to be committed, and your reward will be great. As a teacher, sometimes I even forget I had a son then when I was a teacher. I have a son, and he was small. And sometimes I would even spend more time with my students at school instead of him because he was still not in the classroom. But the good thing about it is that I devoted so many time to the students that I had to teach that when their time came, I hadn't to do much with them. For good reasons, they were fluent readers and they even helped those in the neighborhood. So I think God has blessed me in that way that I give there and somebody else probably helped mine to do what they had to do. And there are a few words that keep me going, and I would like to encourage teachers. You must, my words or my pillars were like respect, humility, commitment, integrity, and gratitude. Firstly, you have to respect yourself. And you have to respect yourself as a teacher. You're not a teacher only in the classroom. You're a teacher in your community, in the country. So whatever you say and do reflects you as a person. And of course, you have to respect others. You respect authority. When I was in a Teacher Service Commission, one of the commissioners said to the staff one day, even if it's a stick, wrap in clothes and hold that position, you have to give that person the respect due to them, right? So you have to respect authority. And commitment, yes, I know teachers, we are all committed, but I still feel that there are some persons who can do a little more. Because, like Minister, it saddens me to know that after a cycle, let's just take the primary school, after a cycle of 6 years, a child cannot read. How does this happen? I am still trying to figure out. Because as a classroom teacher, I always start with my little diagnostic, see where your child is, or your children are, and then by the time they leave you, they must be at another place, a better place. And so much that in my school, if anybody was here from Montrose would know that they would always want my class because they don't have to go to start doing everything all over, right? So you have to be committed and caring and loving for those children just as if they were your own. Because you are there, place, as Minister said, you are a very, very important person in the lives of this nation. You are the ones who help to train and educate the doctors and the pilots and all the esteemed positions that we have. It starts from you as a teacher. So you must feel important in the role that you have to play in the lives of children. So teachers, I know there are some who work beyond the call of duty, doing extra, even forgetting their own sometimes, especially in this pandemic period. To those, I commend you, and we are thankful. To those who need to do a little more, please, let us just think of the next generation. We would be gone, a generation is there to come. Let us do our best for them. So teachers, be committed always. And of course, integrity. Always maintain that level of integrity. And as I would say to our teachers when I was an officer then, I would say, you're not being dishonest just if you can't account for something financially, which is dishonesty, yes, but you are also robbing the children when you are not there on time. Take, for instance, 10 minutes before the start of time, when you should be there at 9 to start. Every day you're late. You are robbing those children. Multiply those minutes that you rob or deny those children valuable time. So we must always ensure that we work with the highest level of integrity in whatever profession we choose. And lastly, but not at all the least, we must give gratitude. And today, I cannot express the extent of gratitude I would like to give to everyone here and all those who are listening, and to my brothers and sisters in the hinterland communities. Keep working hard. You can also shine. And God bless you all. Thanks, Tom.
Thank you, Ms. Vera. Words from the wise. Before we go to the vote of thanks, we have a little surprise piece. I would like to call on the Honorable Minister. Metro would like to present a token of appreciation, so we'd like to invite the CEO of Metro, Avia Lindy, Ms. Avia Lindy, to come forward along with our Honorable Minister. To put a wrap on our official ceremony, I would like to call on the head teacher of St. Margaret's Primary, Ms. Sunita Dogra, to give us the vote of thanks.
With all protocols being observed, it's a great pleasure to stand before you to do this honorable task. Now, today is a very special day, and I'm sure all the teachers around the country, from Region 1 to Region 10, they have thoughts in their mind. Likewise, myself, we are very, very happy for this initiative, the initiative of Teachers' Welfare and Support System. Now, it has been in the making for a long time now. We have recognized that we are getting the support we have needed. Now, today's program is of great motivation to our teachers. Now, what is motivation? It is a process that initiates, guides, and maintains goal-oriented behaviors. And one of the main components of motivation is activation. And listening to today's program, we would have listened to all the speakers, and in their speeches, you would have recognized that they are trying to motivate teachers to do better. And we are happy that the Ministry of Education, they have seen it fit at this time, a period where we are going through the pandemic, very challenging period. And we want to say with one voice that we are grateful and we are thankful for this initiative. And we are very thankful that other stakeholders can come on board and recognize and value the efforts shown by teachers. So with today's program, I want to say thank you, Minister. Thank you to all the planning and the efforts you would have put into bringing this initiative a reality. This program, we want to give appreciation to our Master of Ceremony, Mr. Marty D'Souza. He did a wonderful job. Followed by the opening remarks of our Honorable Chief Education Officer, Dr. Marcel Huston. We also enjoyed a poem by Nikhil Sankar, very timely poem. We would have listened to her. Then we had remarks by Mr. Roger Lee, the Managing Director of GTM. Thank you for coming on board to support this Teachers' Welfare and Support Program. Also, Mr. Damian Blackburn, from CEO GT&T, we listened to him virtually. The Managing Director of Metro, and listening to him, he has really supported education in Guyana. I remember as a young teacher, we had to go, whenever we go shopping at Metro, you get your money worth. I can say that. As a student, as a teacher, we go there and we are always welcome by Metro office. We would have listened to the song by Joel, very timely and appropriate song. It was very touching. Thank you, Joel. We listened to the overview by our one and only specialist, Dr. Olato Sam. And I am remembering his speeches at the University of Guyana. I'm sure he's proud with those handsome smiles. I know this is very valuable for him. Then we had our feature address by no honor other than our Honorable Minister Priyamani Chan. And I want to say, Minister, I really admire your passion in the field of education. I am always listening and keeping abreast with what's happening. So we are happy that you would have made this program a reality today, and we look forward for your continuous support. So once again, I say thank you, thank you, thank you. Thank you to all who visited and the media and everyone who put the program together. Thank you.
And thank you, HM, for the vote of thanks. Just some housekeeping matters before we leave. I've been following the thread on the ministry's Facebook page where persons are asking what is there for their regions. Well, I can tell you, if you follow the MOE's page, you will find that every region has a list of businesses that is on board at the moment. However, we are hopeful, as Minister said, that others will come on board so that you can benefit even more from this initiative. Snacks are available at the back. I think one of the desks at the back. As you visit the booth, which will be opened just after we close here, remember GTM, they are actually signing up at the moment, so you can visit them. There's an officer on site. If you're interested in the package, they can sign you up almost immediately. I think that's about it from me. Thank you one and all for being here. Have a good rest of the day. God's richest blessings upon you all. Thank you. Registration is also being done at the desk. You can pick up your ID cards, those of you who have already been registered. Your ID card can also be picked up at the registration desk, I'm thinking.